Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Dan Cave and welcome to December on the Bench. So, December 2022. Welcome back, everyone. Getting towards the end of the year. Just had Telford. I've just had a little bit of time off, so I've made some progress on things, which is good. But yeah, here we are into pretty much the last kind of monthly review of the year. There'll be a little bit of a tidy up just before the end of the year. Probably do an end of year video as well, but this is my regular December on the bench. So December on the bench is going to cover my random thoughts of what's been going on, how Telford went, random thoughts on what I've built, musings on what I've bought, which either I bought or have been bought for me, because November also coincided with my birthday as well. A little bit of a chat about what's in progress, which is a little bit less this month because I actually cleared quite a few things off last month. And then a bit of a chat about what's coming soon. And actually, for coming soon, I'm going to give you, people watching, the chance to influence what my next build will be. So, there we go. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe. Please like the video as well, of course, if you like it. If you're not new here, if you're returning, I'm very grateful for your support so far. And of course, for you guys as well that are not new here, please hit the like button as well. But new or old, you're going to get a chance to do some more interaction by helping me decide what my next build is going to be, or one of the next builds I'll be doing is going to be. So, November started with my birthday, which is very early in November. So luckily enough, I've received some gifts from a birthday club that I'm in over at ISM. There's a few of us contribute some money every month, and basically they use your money to buy your gifts, essentially. So you're paying for your own gifts, but then it's nice to get people, you know, who you're friends with, go and buy stuff for you and send it to you, and there's all elements of surprise and all that. So so those kits will be in the bought list, which I'll get to a little bit later on in the video. So, week or two after that, just a little over a week, was Telford. So, once again, I was at Telford this year. Ended up going for both days, not all of the second day. Left a little bit earlier, so I could get home reasonably early. But yeah, ended up 2 nights. So kind of myself, Luke Ward, Simon Shorey, Alan Parker, and PJ Lewis as well, one of the contributors for ISM. So yeah, so basically us kind of hanging around together on a Friday evening. Went for a very nice Indian meal in Telford. A few drinks and all that. Saturday went to the show, met up with loads of other people on the Saturday. The list is endless, but if you met me, you know who you are. So, but yeah, it was great to meet certainly quite a few people for the first time. So met, you know, people like Cam, Richard Thomas, Sean White, Richie Lamb. So just loads of people, to be honest. And I'm bad with names, so if I've forgotten your name, it's not deliberate. But all I know is I was saying hello to people for most of the day, and it was absolutely great. Considering I'm not a people person, I actually quite enjoyed that side of it for once. So yeah, so a lot of wandering around on a Saturday, looking at what all the stuff that's been built, all the stuff that was on display. So many people have done videos and posts about what they've seen at Telford and all the highlights and stuff, you know, nearly a month ago, so I'm not going to do a review of the stuff I've seen at Telford. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say how much I enjoyed it. It was really great to meet so many people. The Saturday night, then of course with Mark as well. See, I forgot about Mark. Mark was with us as well on the Friday, on the Saturday, and we met Mark on the Saturday morning in the queue. Met Sue, Paul Chaplin, Chris. Oh, I keep on remembering people that we met because I'm terrible with names. But yeah, met so many people. Went out with quite a few of them for dinner on a Saturday evening, which was great laugh. Really enjoyable. A few drinks and all that. And then Sunday, some of the guys headed back, so it was mainly just myself and Luke initially. We met up with Paul Lewis as well on the Sunday, and had a little bit of a wander around the traders as well on the Sunday. So amazingly didn't spend half as much as I expected. We'll get to that in the boat section, but did come back with a mammoth. 1 second. Did come back with a mammoth 1/8 scale Revell Pontiac Firebird. So that Pontiac, so that's gonna be another magazine build for Phoenix Scale publication, so Phoenix Scale Modelling Magazine. If you follow my page, and if you follow the bench reviews, you know I've mentioned them a few times. The Camaro was published recently, so that's in December's issue of Phoenix Scale Modelling, so that's going to be a whopper of a kit to build. Doesn't look incredibly detailed. It looks somewhat like a scaled up 24 scale kit, good or bad as that is. But it's going to be an interesting challenge. Figure out where to put it, where to paint it, where to store it, how to mount it for body color. For 2K is going to be difficult because you've just got such a big palette to try and move around and work around. So that was picked up at Telford and then transported back. So the guys from Phoenix Scale Modelling want me to go and build that. Maybe they don't like me or something. Maybe they're trying to punish me. I don't know. We'll see. So that's my brief rambling intro. Have any more key points? No, I don't think so. I think it's time to get into return to our regular viewing, which is over on the bench, and a little bit of a chat about built boat in progress, and then I'll come back to discuss what I think the future plans will be. So without further ado, let's head on over and have a look at what's been built this last month, November. You know what I mean. Over there. Come on. So what was built in November then? So first up in November was this Special Hobby 72nd scale Saab J21. So this was another magazine build for Phoenix Scale Modelling. So this article will probably come out January, Feb time, I think. So I think I just sent this to them just before Telford. So normally it takes a couple of months because obviously they plan their contents well in advance. But nice little kit from Special Hobby, not without its challenges, as you'll read in the article. It's one of the limited run injection kits from Special Hobby, but it does nicely come with resin wheels, a little bit of photo etch, resin exhausts as well, stuff like that. So lots of nice little details go into the kit. Build itself fairly straightforward, but a reasonable amount of filler used. And I took the opportunity to actually use MRP paints this time. So used MRP olive green for the upper surface and MRP blue grey for the underside, which are Swedish colours for this aircraft. So all in all, it was actually quite an enjoyable build. Really quick, but thoroughly enjoyable. So not going to dwell on this. Read more about how it was built and how it went together in a future issue of one of Phoenix Scale Modelling's publications. Not sure whether it'll be in Phoenix Aircraft Monthly or in their other one. Don't know yet. But it'll be in one of the magazines. And if you follow my Facebook page, I'll give it a plug when it's about to be released. So that was that. So one of the other completions for the month of November was this de Havilland Dove, which I've mentioned a few times on the monthly updates. So this is a resin kit from Magna Models, and it's finished, and that's all I really want to say about it. Really not happy with how it's come out in the end. As you can see, it needs to be propped up with a little bit of a stick on the back, because I don't think there's any nose weight in the world would actually make this not be a tail sitter, because the resin in there is incredibly thick and incredibly heavy. It went all right. Construction went all right and the priming went all right, but then there was just so much rework with filler and primer, and then when I went to the metallic coat, it just went away from me. The surface finish on the paint for me is not good enough, and it's not up to the standards I know I can do. So I kind of lost interest towards the back end of it. However, I did finish it, got the Day-Glo panels on, got the decals down as well. So these decals came from a very old set, which was given away free with Sam magazine, Scale Aircraft Modeler, many years ago. So they have stood the test of time and actually went down reasonably well. So that's the main Irish Airco roundels and the serials as well. But overall, I'm not entirely happy with it. It's just not gone the way I wanted it to go. It's come out with quite a gritty, grainy finish on it, which to me is probably a case of it's just had too many coats of primer. Primer was probably went on badly, so probably dried, probably spraying from too far away, I would imagine. Dried before it hit the surface, and I think that's why I've ended up with quite a grainy surface. And then when painting it with the metallic colour, that's obviously exposed just how poor the surface finish was. So I'm not saying any more on this, because I may set fire to it at some point. But overall, not overly impressed. So although I've caught up and finished stuff, I haven't done them very well so far. So up next, something I am actually pleased with this month. So that is the Revell 24th scale Jordan 197. Now, so I started this a while ago, spoken about it for ages, finally got into it. And actually for a very simple, borderline curbside Formula 1 kit in 24th scale, I actually quite enjoyed it. I was always a big fan of the Jordan team, so to have a kit representing one of their cars is, yeah, really enjoyed it. So this was all primed in UMP white, then it was sprayed with Zero Paints Jordan F1 yellow. That went down really well. A little bit of masking, then the red was painted, silver was painted, then the decals went down absolutely fine, considering they looked a bit dodgy in the box and were very old. And yeah, you will notice the wheels are quite loose, so that's because they literally just pop on and they're not a great fit. But when they're sat on the wheels, you can kind of just push them into shape a little bit, so it kind of looks okay when it's on the shelf. But I will say the actual tyres themselves are a little bit misshapen. That's probably one downside of the kit itself. However, so decals went down, 2K, Gravity 2K, yeah, it was Gravity 2K, and then there is an engine underneath, but it's invisible. You can't see it. So that was pretty much just thrown together, a bit of hand painting. And then I've added a little bit of carbon fibre work here and there. The front wishbones have had some carbon fibre added, just to add a little bit of detail to what is otherwise a relatively simplified version of a Formula 1 kit. The seat itself, I did put some ribbon in there, but I'd run out of buckles, so I kind of cheated a little bit, where I just put the ribbon over the raised detail, glued it down, and then hand painted the raised detail for the buckles. But other than that, I think it's gone together well, and I think it actually looks really good on the shelf actually. So it will be nice to actually put this next to some of the other Jordan kits I've got. So I've got the later one from Revell as well, which is the Jordan EJ10, and I do also have the Tamiya 191, which is in 20th scale. So there we go, that one done and dusted and finished. And then the final completion for November was this little Revell quick snap together Darth Vader TIE Fighter. So really enjoyed building this actually. Really simple kit, went together very, very fast. That of course is a video build that's just come out earlier this week. About 30 minutes long, just covering the entire build process of this little kit. So primed in UMP black, Revell paints, a little bit of post shading, a little bit of weathering with some enamel wash and a little bit of oil paint here and there. So ultimately it's come out. It's a really, really nice finish. So quite enjoyed that. So that is 4 kits finished in November, which I think is a record for this year. Yeah, it is actually. That's a record for this year. So that's a nice little bit of catch up, because I've been saying most of the year I've not been building enough. So it's the last thing and finished. So next, I'm going to cover bought. So what was bought? So as you can see, reasonable amount. So we start from the left. So technically not bought, but bought for me. So a couple of Arma Hobbies kits in 72nd scale. So there's a Mustang Mark III and a Polish TS11 trainer jet. So Arma Hobbies developing a really good reputation for their kits. So a couple of 72nd scale kits for me to go and build. That TS11 in particular looks really interesting, because that does come with some extras like some photo etching, some resin in there as well. So that could be a really enjoyable and interesting build to do. I've also got some Hataka paints for that as well, which just by pure coincidence, Paul Bretland over at ISM was having a clear out and he had some Hataka paints, which he kindly sent to me before I even got this kit. And then this kit showed up and I was like, wow, how fortuitous is that? So 2 more 72nd scale kits for the stash, but I'm really looking forward to both of those, because I've heard a lot of good things about Arma Hobby and I've not built any of their kits to date. So in the middle, again, a couple of birthday presents from the ISM birthday group. So the Tamiya Ducati Superleggera, looks a stunning kit. One of those must-have bikes for your stash. Tamiya bikes just recently been absolutely awesome and really enjoyable to build. And then the new Audi R8 LMS Evo, which I've got the original one. This is the Evo version, and I think I've shown it in one of the previous bench updates, but I've got a set of decals to do the Valentino Rossi GT World Challenge GT3, whatever race series he's currently driving in, where he's driving one of these cars. So I've got the decal scheme for that. Now I've got the kit to go with it, which is awesome. I also bought this Star Wars kit. I did also buy an X-Wing as well, which I don't have a picture of. So I bought the X-Wing as well to go with it. So but as you've seen, the TIE Fighter has been bought, built, and is now on the finished pile already. So, as you saw earlier at Telford, I managed to pick up this 1/8 scale Pontiac Firebird Trans Am for the magazine that I sometimes write for. So Phoenix Scale Publications will get a build review of this hopefully sometime in the first quarter of next year. So I've not started yet. My plan is to start this after Christmas, so probably into the new year. And given the size of the kit and just how much work is involved, despite being a relatively simple kit, I think it's probably going to take between 2 and 3 months. At least that's the plan in my head at the moment. So, whilst the Telford, one sneaky one I've chucked in the top left. So another kit I bought at the start of November was the Revell 68 Chevelle SS396. So this is for the Paul Bretland buddy build over at ISM. It's part of his birthday Christmas build. So that has been bought and been through in progress and built. But it was only built recently, so it wasn't finished in November, so we'll cover that in next month's update. But there's a sneak peek of what it's going to look like. There we go. So also Telford, I picked up a couple of armour kits. So I've never really done 35th scale armour before. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I do have that Trumpeter Sam 6 kit in the stash. But having watched SAS Rogue Heroes, I thought a couple of World War II, more military, smaller military vehicles, I thought just to cut my teeth on some armour. So I went for the Tamiya SAS Jeep and the Tamiya Hanomag. So as you'll see in the in progress bit coming up next, that Jeep is already in progress and is progressing very, very nicely. And then at Telford I also picked up the Hasegawa BTCC 93 BMW 318. Again, I'm a big fan of touring cars, so spotted it on the shelf and I had to pick one up because it was there. So as is usual at Telford, I tend to pick up some kind of tools and supplies as well. So I picked up some AK paints for doing flesh tones, because both these armour kits I've got some figures as well. Kind of decided I needed to get some flesh tones just to help me along with getting them looking reasonable. Picked up a few other items, picked up a whole bunch of Alclad lacquer metallics, small photo etch bending tool, a couple of bits of glue, a wire brush as well for cleaning files and the like. And that was it. That was my restrained spending spree from Telford. So I think that's everything I've bought. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Just running over the list. So I mentioned the Chevelle. Yeah, that's it. That's all that I've bought. Quite a bit, with 11 kits. It was a bumper month, so you know, obviously it's difficult to get through it all. So, but look out for some of those as video builds. Look out for some of those as updates as well on my future bench reviews. So let's get back to the bench and let's have a look at what's in progress. So number 1 in progress, which I already very briefly mentioned, is the Tamiya SAS Jeep. So that well, kind of looks like this at the moment. So that was primed in UMP grey. Originally gave it a base coat of olive drabs, because so I was originally going to do some hairspray chipping. Then I kind of decided no, I didn't really want to do hairspray chipping on it, because I think the chips can look a little bit unrealistic sometimes. Can be sometimes bigger than you actually want them. So I decided actually no, I'm not going to do chipping on it, but I'm going to use the olive drab as a way just to kind of modulate the colour a little bit. Then covered it in XF59, which is desert yellow, and then used the good old traditional sponge method. That's basically a case of getting some small pieces of sponge. I think I have some in the bin here. So pieces like this, dip them in your paint, get the excess off, and then use that to basically build up a kind of pattern of chips. So olive drab was the colour, So that was the kind of underneath the paint and the chip colour. So that formed the kind of basis for this, and then in a few areas I've gone back, similar method, but also with a paintbrush as well, to fill in some areas with some XF84 dark iron, and then on a few selected places, which is probably not going to come out very well, might not focus brilliantly, but I've added a little bit of metallic in there, but also a little bit of rust tone, because although it's operating in a desert environment, you can still get some rust on exposed metal. Not a huge amount, but enough. Hence on the exhaust area I've added a little bit of rust. So that's the basis of the Jeep. We've got lots of little things like the fuel canisters, which are also in progress. And then there's an amount of kind of storage, and I mean there's the condenser tank for the front, so there's lots of storage, just still haven't gone near. Figures need to be started as well. Wheels are in progress as well, so that's progressing along nicely. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's nice to do something a little bit different, slightly out of my kind of normal build zone. Having never really done 35th Armour, thought that was a good place to start, so I've really enjoyed doing this. So that's one thing that's in progress. So then the other kit is in progress, which is one that I started ages ago, but kind of put back in the box because other things got in the way. And that's the Tamiya 24th scale Nissan Skyline R34. So I think the last time I showed this, it was in, basically the bodywork was complete. It was ready for primer. So since then it's been primed in UMP grey, and then given numerous coats of Gravity Spain Bayside Blue. I've then added the decals and added a wash into kind of all the panel line joints. So it was a mixture of black and grey, just to give it a kind of dark grey wash into all those recessed panel areas. So next step for this is anti-static down and get it into 2K. That'll be Gravity 2K again. So that's pretty much all that's done. There's that, and obviously there's the spoiler and wing mirrors as well in the body colour. And that is, well, that's the in progress section. So let's go back to me, face the camera, and we'll talk about, or I'll talk about, what's coming soon. So let's head back on over to me. So back to me. So done built, done bought, done in progress. Relatively quickly, because you know there's a lot to cover this month, so I didn't want to overly ramble too much. So this is the, I'm looking at my notes. I've actually scribbled some notes this month, I'll have you know. So coming soon on the channel, there's this video, but then you'll know that when you see this, obviously. So beyond that, there'll be an end of year review, a bit like I did last year, where I'll kind of go through all the things I've built this year, general thoughts on what I've achieved this year hobby wise. In terms of video builds, the Jordan 197, that will come out. I think that's going to be probably 2 parts, because it's a relatively simple kit. Probably cover first part, which I've started editing, will kind of cover the build, paint, decal and clear, and then the second part will kind of cover everything else, because there's not a huge amount and they'll be relatively short videos, I think, so, but it will be a video build. Beyond that, this Chevelle, which I mentioned, which was bought in January, and then also, apologies, doorbell went. Where did I get to? The Chevelle. So Chevelle was bought in November, built in November, is finished early December. So I've not shown much detail of that yet. That's up on the shelf just there, but that'll be a video build as well. So That'll probably be into January by the time that comes out as a video build, but it will be a video build, so that's definitely in the coming soon. And the Jeep as well. So I am recording the Jeep build as well. So that'll be coming soon at some point as well. Yeah, hopefully. So that's the kind of future in terms of video builds and end of year review, and there'll be my kind of normal bench updates as well, which is all good. So the kind of real important bit to come back to me is next car build. So I have some thoughts, but I want your help in deciding. So I've got 4 builds in mind, and I'm going to slide this way so I can put them here, hopefully. So number 1 is the new, although I think the kit boxing is flat, but it's the new BMW M3 E30 in a Rothman scheme. So that's the rally car in a Rothman scheme. So that's number 1. So if you want that one, either stick a comment below saying number 1 or number 1 BMW M3. Number 2 is the new 911 SCRS. That's in Rothmans as well. So it's not the kit decaling. I've got some aftermarket decals for an Irish rally driver, Billy Coleman. So that's going to be option number 2. Option number 3 is an Aoshima 1971 Skyline. That's probably going to be done in SMS Pearl Gold Flip, because I kind of picked the colour and thought, what car would that look good on? So that's going to be a 1971 Skyline from Aoshima. And then, so that's number 3. And then number 4 is the Fujimi Mercedes 190 Evo 2.5-16. 190 E2.5-16 Evolution 2. Which is a Fujimi kit of one of the DTM cars. So that's going to be done in a Karcher scheme, if that's the one you've chosen. So, or if that's the one that gets chosen. So there are the 4 options. So once again, the 4 options are M3 E30, 911 in Rothmans, 71 Skyline from Aoshima, or the Fujimi Mercedes 190. So seamlessly slide back to the middle. So there are your choices. So if you want to help me decide, stick a comment in the comments field for this video. I am going to stick a post on the Dan Cave as well, asking people for their input, and I may share that to ISM as well, just to get some feedback, and then I'll tally up all the votes, and I'll probably give it a week, say. So if this video gets released on today, 9th of December, I'll probably close it by the 16th of December and say I've tallied your votes after a week, and let you all know which one I've picked, and that'll be one of the builds coming up soon, probably starting that maybe before Christmas, because there's not a huge amount in progress, and I'm not starting that Firebird until the new year. So I'll probably have an extra slot, because I like to have a 3 in progress. I'll probably start this side of Christmas, probably aiming to finish in around January time, and I probably will video build it as well. So this time for you to have your influence over what I do. So there we go. That's kind of all I want to do this month, really. So without further ado, I'm going to close the video and say thank you all for watching. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe. And for everyone out there, if you're watching the video, please drop a like if you can, and obviously feel free to comment and feel free to vote in the selections below. So yeah, thank you very much, and bye bye for now. I'll see you all very, very soon. So bye bye.